Kitty Cat says someone is trying to kill you.
Okay.
Kitty says hurry up and answer.
Yeah, I know. We're going to put a good word up for Basil Buddha Cat Presents! Exclamation point. Basil, what do you mean? He's next to Joe at the table. Basil said, "Wait a minute, that's not Snarky. I allow Snarky onto the show, but not some other dog. Get that dog out. No, I'm not going to get him out of here. No, he's here. It's Chance, and he's here by chance, I guess, or Joe's here by chance. So, okay, enough of that. We got to go on with our show, Basil. Okay. Oh, okay. Welcome to Progressive Soup. My name is David Stevenson. I have with me Joe Niola, who very deftly reminded me that he's the record holder of the most times on Progressive Soup, unbeknownst to, and actually Mark Morash has been here probably more times. But he was here.
Al's been on here a longer period of time if you consider the years.
True. Al Robinson, who was on last night, and I inadvertently said has the record for most visitations to Progressive Soup, and that has been over eight years now, so 9 years now. So yeah, okay. So he's got the most breadth of experience on Progressive Soup, but you had the more concentrated experience.
Well, concentrated
during the Bernie Sanders era.
Yeah. Well,
what's
I don't
going
think
on?
the era is over yet.
Yeah, it's true. Tell us about Bernie Sanders. What's Bernie up to?
Bernie's really burning up some online time. He's getting a lot of hits on his TV shows that seem to be pulling in a lot of hits. I was pretty surprised.
Basil was talking about that the other day. He said as long as people aren't watching Bernie Sanders when they should be watching Basil Buddha Cat Presents! Exclamation point, all is well. Basil,
okay.
Of course, Basil's been pushing Bernie for 2 years.
There's plenty of time for all.
Yeah, there is.
So
what kind of stuff is he talking about during these shows?
Well, he did do a program on Trump's first 100 days, and it was an 18-minute bit, and I found it just totally intriguing. I personally feel that this Trump phase in the American experience is for the purpose of enlightening the electorate as to what kind of options they can really exercise when they go into the voting booth. The thing about Trump was he was purported to be a populist, and he was we always knew he was a corporate insider.
Yeah, of course. But, he is corporate.
He was corporate, and he
is Wall Street.
He knew how to handle reality TV. He turned the entire process into a reality TV election. He garnered a tremendous amount of support where he needed to, and he managed to move from candidate Trump to President Trump, which is bizarre, but it's a fact. And we're going to have...
Did he ever move to... I mean, he's been doing campaign. He's campaigning for 2020 right now.
Well, he may be, but as far as the current situation is concerned, he doesn't have to sell himself for the presidency. He's already managed to acquire it. Well, I would like to kind of comment on that, but comment on that video that he did on the 100 Days. But what really got me was that whole bit about former President Obama accepting $400,000 to speak for Goldman Sachs. Now, Bernie attempted to comment on that.
Yeah.
And he did say that President Obama is a man of intelligence and a man of integrity, but it was unfortunate that Obama had to kind of succumb to the control or influence of the big money at a time when a good part of the country is a bit frustrated with Wall Street and a lot of money interests.
Yep.
Well, you know, the journalist, the so-called journalist, commented to Bernie, I mean, would you accept $400 to speak before Goldman Sachs?
100,000, yep. And what did he say?
Well, you know, before I even comment on what he said, I got to comment on the journalist. Like, you've got to be kidding. He's already shown himself as a man of integrity, all right? A man who has ideals and believes in those ideals. Do you really expect, okay, that he can be bought? You think he's got a price? You think if you come up with the right number in monetary terms, he's going to sell out? I don't think so. And of course, you know, he laughed at it. But you could take a journalist like Charlie Rose.
Yeah.
Now, Charlie Rose is good. He does a good job. I mean, he knows how to handle himself well when it comes to interviews. His comment was to Bernie was, well, what if it was all transparent? Well, it has nothing to do with transparency or lack of transparency. It has to do with integrity, you know, being true to your ideals. If you purport something to the American people because you believe it, okay, it shouldn't take, or you shouldn't be able to just take it all, okay, and toss it in the can when somebody offers you a certain amount of money, regardless of what it is, all right? No integrity in the corporate world, whether or not it's the news corporate or the political corporate. I can actually say this. I mean, I'm sitting around with people, I'm talking to them, and they're not, well, you're not getting through to them. Tom Perez, hey, case in point. No way you can get through to him because he's bought. Okay, he knows what the party line is, and despite the fact that that particular line doesn't really benefit the American people, it just benefits those people that are paying Tom Perez and the rest of the Democrats their freight. Okay, that's all that's in their heads. One man of integrity is mocked for not buying into the castrating game of control by money. All right? There's this complacent acceptance to this notion of reality, which most everyone has bought into, that you sell yourself as a pawn to the oligarchy of money for security and access to more expensive toys. All right? Toys that will pacify you until you become old and feeble, put in a home, and then, okay, then you're sucked dry of what you thought was your nest egg until you're dead. Okay? There you go. Money and toys. That's what they get. That's what it's going to get you. Integrity, honesty, being true to your beliefs, looking out for your fellow man, your fellow citizen, okay? That's what makes for longevity, okay? That's what makes for greatness among our politicians.
Quality and quantity, but most importantly, quality of life.
There you go. There you go. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. What happens is, and it's happened from the beginning of time, stories are created, all right? And I remember not too long ago, I'm at a Passover dinner.
Yeah.
And you know what Passover is all about. Okay, it's the story of the Passover, but the Passover from slavery to freedom. Okay, that's essentially what it is. So the emphasis is on freedom, how to maintain freedom. And it seems like it's such a difficult thing to maintain. It seems as though it constantly gets sold out for one reason or another. You know, you get these escapees. They're in the desert. Okay, they get a little hungry, and now they want to sell out. Can't we go back for some decent food? All right.
Yeah, I kind of miss that Egyptian cuisine, huh?
There you go. All right. Same thing. You know, same thing nowadays. You know, it's like everybody is tied into what a particular net worth is, and there was a quote, and I can't really quote him accurately. It was from a film that I had seen recently called, it was called Snowden. Okay, it's called Snowden, all right? And I thought it was a really good film. I thought it was one of the best of the year. But not too many people have seen it. And the reason not people have seen it is because the powers that can bring it to the attention of the masses decided that we're going to have to play this sucker down because we don't want any of this stuff to really get into the minds of the American people. Because if it did, all right, we wouldn't be discussing things like, the Russians interfering in our election. Because the Russians interfering in our election is a big joke. Okay, we interfere not only in the Russians' elections, if they ever have them, but we're interfering in everyone else's political, economic, and personal business for the purposes of gaining a foothold or gaining an advantage over all the competitive activities that go on across the globe.
Just ask Salvador Allende in Chile, who was the first freely elected Marxist president in our hemisphere, our half of the world. And somehow or other, forget how the story goes, but the CIA showed up at his doorstep and yada yada, he was shot in the back of the head from 50 feet. And it was a suicide. He committed suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head from 50 feet away. And then, yada yada, Auguste Pinochet, who did some pretty horrible things to his own people, he was installed by our CIA.
Oh, yeah, here we go. This interfering in the election. Come on, there you go. Iran. Okay, you know that story.
Yeah.
All right.
The Shah of Iran, we put him in there.
Yeah, that's not all we do. It's really unbelievable. It's a question of hypocrisy. All right. Here I am, once again, the Passover dinner. People are really upset over the fact that your emails, that's privacy. What right does Assange and his WikiLeaks people have to actually break into the computer system of the DNC? Well, listen, folks, what do you think? You think when you sit in front of that keyboard and you go click, 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 okay, that you have privacy? Forget about it. You sold that a long time ago. Somehow or other you forgot about Big Brother.
And if you don't want something disseminated that you said that was stupid or makes you look bad, how about not saying it in the first place?
There you go. There you go. So, you know, let's really know, okay, what cyberspace activity really is. So come on, wise up.
It's a transparent world. And pretty much anything you say, somebody's going to get a hold of it and use it against you if you say something bad. So the only solution is don't say anything bad.
Well,
behave yourself. Act like everybody's watching, because you can sure as heck bet that probably everybody is.
Boy,
one direction or the other.
Well, we're really moving along on the show. Oh, yeah, you touched upon that whole business with Al, with the Australian Prime Minister. You know, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. He does not know what's going on. I mean, here he goes. He admits to the Prime Minister of Australia that Australia has a better health care system than the one in the United States. He admits that, right?
We've been saying that for years, haven't we?
Now, Australia has this universal health care program called Medicare, which is a single-payer system, right? Okay.
Just like our Medicare.
The U.S., the United States,
coverage. Everybody's covered. Everybody's got better quality health care than we do for a fraction of the price because there are no HMOs.
Right. The U.S. is the greatest and richest country with a president who purports to the American people, okay, a health care system he knows is inferior to the one in Australia. What? You know, all right, fine.
But I guess he probably didn't recognize the fact, he didn't really understand what he was actually saying, because our president, our current president, is not the most read individual. He doesn't really read. He's not curious. He doesn't have any wanting to understand things, and so he had no idea that Australia has a single-payer system.
He has no idea, okay, of what is the responsibility of an American president, okay? We the people, you know? He doesn't understand that it's not money, it's people, all right? As far as he's concerned, when he's involved in his business dealings, we don't have to consider people. They're expendable. We just look in terms of profits.
Yeah.
And he's trying to transpose that mentality, which is bad to begin with, because you're supposed to be considering people in business also.
Can't run a government like a business because a business is profit-driven and a government is service to the American people driven.
It's service. It's public service. Doesn't get it. Not at all.
It doesn't. And likewise, his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, he's been in the business world his entire life and doesn't understand that you can't. And John McCain, I don't agree with John McCain about a lot of stuff, but once in a while he gets his morality hat on, and like he did, he wrote an opinion to the editor and talked about Tillerson and U.S. foreign policy and this notion that it's transactional, that you get what you can out of another country in exchange for not caring what they do to their own people. And you can't be a leader of your country without having no shred of morality in your thought process. And that's what Tillerson and that's what Rex Tillerson, that's what President Trump do. They haven't got a shred of morality in them between the two of them.
That morality issue is complicated. It is complicated.
How so?
I'll tell you how so. If you recall, not too long ago, there was an incident that precipitated Trump to drop this huge bomb on a military complex in Syria.
Yep.
And I think it had to do
the
with...
The huge bomb was Afghanistan. The 59 Tomahawk missiles was Syria.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, the 59 Tomahawk missiles were... And by
that
the way,
was Syria?
And by the way, Trump has investments in, in the company that makes the Tomahawk missiles.
Of course, another conflict of interest.
Yeah.
But so that bomb was dropped in Afghanistan.
That was Afghanistan, allegedly on an ISIS facility with apparently no civilians.
Right.
No innocent people anywhere around.
Yeah. And see, when they said ISIS and dropping the bomb, I just concluded that it was Syria, but it wasn't. It was Afghanistan.
That was the one in Afghanistan.
So we dropped it in Afghanistan.
The MOAB, the mother of all bombs.
Okay.
Now the Russians just used the father of all bombs, to show that they still got some skin in the bomb game.
But here's the thing: the bombs, the Tomahawk missiles, all right. Okay, you can say that he really violated the rules of war. Like, who really obeys the rules of war? The rule of war is you win at all costs.
Yep.
Use your head. You got these rules. Nobody follows them if they don't have to.
Yeah, but
but let's be moral. Let's try to control it somehow.
But when you fire 59 Tomahawk missiles into a location where let's be honest, there are civilians there. The same way that the Assad regime with their chemical weapons murdered civilians.
Right.
Likewise, Trump with his 59 Tomahawk missiles murdered civilians. And where is the difference?
That's the point. Okay, that is the point. You're not going to bring those dead, gassed people back to life again after you fired the Tomahawk missiles. You're just going to kill more people.
Tit for tat.
The fact of the matter is, okay, this is a really bad situation, all right? Let us refrain from creating a more exacerbated situation. Okay, let's do what we can that doesn't involve violence on our part. Okay, I realize how bad ISIS is, but I do know that there are certain factions in the area that find ISIS undesirable.
Sure.
Okay? They've got to work this nonsense out for themselves. All right? Iran and Saudi Arabia have been manipulating us, and the Russians for that matter. When are we going to wise up? We don't even have to be in there. We don't need those resources. And everyone thinks, oh, he had it coming. It's about time, we showed some force. All right? We would have showed more intelligence, okay, by taking a different tact.
Feed the people that you can get on your side.
And the amount of money that... Oh, well,
and let them win the war on their own.
I don't know how we got off on that tangent.
I don't know. That never happens on Progressive.
No, we never go off on tangents.
Never.
All right.
How about those Yankees? 20-9. Oh, back to the, okay.
Well, you and the Yankees, I'm a Mets fan.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
I'm not a Yankee
there was
fan.
something in the news about Matt Harvey. I don't know what the heck that's all about.
He's been banished for 3 games, and who knows why. And it doesn't, I don't follow professional sports. I don't care about the Yankees. It's all corporate. I don't care about the Mets. It's all corporate. So forget I even said it.
All right.
I'll never again.
But baseball can be.
But the guy, look at Pujols for the Anaheim Angels. He's moving up in all those. Okay, back to the.
Pujols has always been a fantastic ball player.
Yeah.
Ever since he's come up.
So
and baseball is a metaphor, really.
We could talk about players,
we're not
about corporate teams.
Not going to get into it.
Okay,
all
yeah.
right.
Okay. So, yeah.
The thing. So just let me touch upon Bernie Sanders. How much time we got? We got enough time to talk?
How much time we got? How much time we got? 5 minutes. Go ahead.
5 minutes. My God. All right. How am I going to do this in 5 minutes? Anyway, there's Bernie Sanders on Trump's 100 days. All right. Number one, Trump, full of hypocrisy. All right. Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp of what? His chief advisor, Gary Cohn, $285 million severance pay he got from Goldman Sachs before he took his appointment as chief advisor to Trump.
Well, Trump would never let Goldman Sachs people into his government. Would he?
Yeah.
He said he wouldn't.
Good. So you got the hypocrisy right there. Health care insurance for everyone, less expensive and better. Trump and Paul Ryan, that's what he said as a candidate.
Yeah.
He's going to give us health insurance for everyone.
Everyone.
Right. And less expensive and better. That's what he said. Trump and Paul Ryan propose a bill that would throw 24 million Americans off health care insurance, raise premiums for elderly people, cut Medicaid by $800 billion, and deny 2.5 million women choice of coverage by defunding Planned Parenthood. Okay, how much more time do I got? 4 minutes. Okay, so we got
most of what Planned Parenthood does, they no public funds, obviously, for abortion, because that's the law. But what they do with their money, with their donations, is they provide women with breast cancer screening.
Go ahead.
And other things that are really, in fact, life-saving.
Now, that same proposal, on the other hand, would provide $300 billion in tax breaks to the top 2%, and more than $100 million in tax breaks to the insurance companies and the drug companies. Okay, so
there's such a giving.
Yeah, here he is, Trump for the American worker. Whoa! Deny coverage to people suffering from the opioid epidemic. Okay, that's another thing that he's going to do by cutting the amount of funding that was originally appropriated for that. And that was just in the news today, and Bernie Sanders is talking about it back in April.
More people killed.
The Trump budget doesn't.
The death group.
3 minutes.
The death toll is ticking up daily under Trump.
The Trump budget does nothing to help the average American worker.
Well, he's bringing coal back. He's bringing coal back. There's 75,000 coal mining jobs. Maybe since they're all automated, everything's automated, maybe he can amp that 75 up to, let's say, 76,000 coal mining jobs. In the meanwhile, there are 965,000 solar energy jobs in the United States. They can't find enough workers. Well, how about moving some of those coal miners into those categories?
Not to mention all the work they can do on infrastructure.
Yep.
You know, roads, bridges, tunnels. This budget that they have throws millions of children off of the after-school programs, cuts affordable housing, throws at least 20,000 families out of their houses, cuts financial aid to $1 and $1.5 million in aid to the college students, cuts heating assistance to 6 million working families, throws 90,000 children off Head Start, along with it cuts in programs like Meals on Wheels. What do I got left? I got 1 minute left. Jesus, 1 minute left. Oh,
Meals on
God.
Wheels. Who needs to eat?
All right, here you go. Let me whip this one out. This is Bernie, okay? Bernie's still fighting. $15 an hour living wage. 15 million people back to work with an infrastructure plan to rebuild the roads, the bridges, and the tunnels. Tuition-free public colleges and university. Wall Street speculation tax to pay for that education. Paid family and medical leave up to 12 weeks. Lower the cost of prescription drugs, expand Social Security, comprehensive immigration reform to provide a path toward citizenship and not scapegoating the undocumented. And lastly, criminal justice reform by ending mass incarceration, jobs and education, and not jail for the young people. Now is the time we don't despair. Now is the time we keep fighting. How much time I got left, Melissa? 4 seconds. Your turn.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Okay, real quick, thank you for joining us on Progressive Soup. I'm David Stevenson, Joe Niola. We've been having some fun and bringing back the most popular public figure in America. Who's the most popular public figure in America?
I think it's Bernie Sanders. I know it's Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
All right, folks.
Thanks for joining us.